I want to thank you for your time and for the opportunity to speak here. As Mike was mentioning, I am a medically retired Minneapolis police officer. After nearly 14 and a half years with Minneapolis, I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, after riots in 2020. I was forced to leave a profession in a way I never wanted to, and in a way I never thought was possible. I was shamed, I was denigrated, I was embarrassed of how I was forced to leave a profession that I love. Doing so, I quickly realized that there wasn't any organizations out there protecting our first responders or suffering from work-related mental health issues, which is why I created Heroes Helping Heroes. So we're a nonprofit here in Minnesota for both active and retired first responders, police, fire, EMS, and corrections who are suffering from work-related mental health issues, specifically PTSD. And we provide them peer-to-peer support through means of outdoor group recreational activities. So I'm here tonight to talk about Senate File 3412, which Mr. Senator has introduced on the floor a couple weeks ago. From my understanding, it was in the committee hearing today, and there is a bill ready to drop in the House, a companion bill, I believe tomorrow. So this is very active, and this is trying to get pushed through legislation this term. So it's very important that everybody knows what's in this legislation. This legislation is aimed at taking away health insurance for individuals, police and fire, who have been injured in the line of duty, and they only get health insurance for 3 years. On the backside of that, they also tie health insurance to our pension. So if you don't receive health insurance, you do not receive your pension, which is a huge problem because the burden of proof for health insurance is completely different than the burden of proof for our disability retirement through PARA. Our burden of proof for health insurance is based off of the facts decided by a judge. The burden of proof for our disability payments, whether physical or psychological, is that we have to go and be evaluated by a minimum of 4, usually in excess of 7 doctors, therapists, licensed individuals who diagnose us with either physical or psychological injury before we can even apply for PARA. So again, they don't really combine. I don't know why this legislation is looking at doing so. Also, the bill restricts individuals from getting paid out for health insurance in a lump sum, and if so, they do not qualify for their duty disability pension. Again, this is alarming because the only way this is ever enacted in the first place is when the cities decide to sue that individual officer or firefighter who's already been injured. So they start this lawsuit process, and that is the only time that this option is ever made available to the injured party is by means of the city suing the injured first responder. On the first side of the bill, I think it's extremely shameful that this legislation is being pushed through. Mr. Senator, I gotta give him credit where credit is due. Authored and pushed through legislation that provides additional funding and support for our military suffering from PTSD. And if I'm not incorrect here, I'm pretty positive he himself receives PTSD benefits through our military. So why is he introducing restrictions and demonizing police and fire with PTSD in particular? And he's even made the comment that he is targeting those with PTSD and not physical disabilities. And that's a huge concern because not only is he violating state law, he's also violating federal law when it comes to protection underneath the protection.
Mr. Stewart, I would just remind you that the agreement was that you were going to speak about the group and what you're seeking through legislation, but not to attack using terms like demonize.
Kind of hearsay also.
That's exactly what we were trying to avoid. So if we can keep it to what your group is seeking, that would be in order. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. And in regards, this isn't hearsay. This is coming from Mr. Senator himself. He has publicly come out and said that this is, in particular, targeting those with PTSD. And again, that's a huge concern. With violence against